So one of the things I really like to do is to make my own bread. I've tried several recipes, and I like different ones for different things. Today I'm going to make a buttermilk recipe in my bread machine. I've had a Toastmaster bread box for many, many years, and it does make bread making a lot easier, though I will say that the best loaves I make are usually made in the oven. The good thing about the bread makers, you really don't have to do much but put all the ingredients in, and I even have a delay timer. So right now it is 10:15 at night, and I'm going to go ahead and put a loaf of bread in before I go to bed and set the delay timer so it will be nice and warm in the morning when I wake up. So when making bread in the bread machine, you always want to put your wet ingredients first. In this case, I'm using 1 1/4 cup lukewarm water, 2 tablespoons butter, which has been softened. I'm using a cultured buttermilk blend because I did not have buttermilk. So for my 1 1/4 cup water, I needed 4 tablespoons of the buttermilk mix. So then I'm using 3 cups of flour. To measure out my flour so it doesn't become too dense, I scoop it out and set it into the 1 cup. And then when it's a little overflowing, you take, use a clean knife here, you take a knife and just slide over it so you get 1 cup. So I'm going to do that 2 more times because I want 3 cups of flour. This would be easier over a bowl, but I don't want to get anything else dirty. So there's 2 cups and 3 cups of flour. Now I'm going to take my cup and just kind of make a well in the flour. The idea behind this is that it gives me somewhere to put the yeast so the yeast doesn't touch the liquids before we're ready to start the process. Seeing I'm going to use the delay timer, it's actually very important. I'm going to add 1 1/2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Now I am not the best at measuring, so I eyeball it. That's about a half. And then 1 teaspoon salt. This is a 1/2 teaspoon, so I'll have to fill it twice. Half. And another half. As you can see, I'm trying to put stuff away as I work. That way, when I put this on, I can go to bed. And the last thing we need is 1 teaspoon of bread machine yeast or instant yeast. This is a brand new bottle. You do want to use the instant or the rapid rise for this recipe. So again, this is a 1/2 teaspoon. Now here I'm being very careful to put it in the well that I made so that it doesn't touch liquid until we're ready for the bread to be started. So there, that was 1 teaspoon. So there you got all the ingredients for the bread. Again, I'm going to recap. It was 1 1/4 cup water, 2 tablespoons butter, 4 tablespoons of the cultured buttermilk blend. Otherwise, you could just use 1 1/4 cup buttermilk and omit the water. 3 cups bread flour, 1 1/2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon salt, and 1 teaspoon yeast. So then this is going to go into the bread machine. So like I said, I have a Toastmaster bread machine. Take the ingredients that we put there, and we're going to place it carefully in here and make sure it snaps in. Kind of hard to see here, but you see the little well of yeast trying to keep it in the middle. So I'm going to close the bread machine and plug it in. Set it to program 1, and I'd like it to be a 1 1/2 pound. It is loaf, and then I'd like the crust color to be light. So I want my bread to be ready at around 7 tomorrow morning, and it is 10:30. So 8.5 hours. So I'm going to hit the timer, and let's do 8 hours and 10 minutes because I tend to wake up. So now I hit start, and it's going to do its thing overnight. So here's my bread this morning. Thing to watch out for with the bread machine is that a lot of times the apparatus that spins inside of it, whatever you want to call this thing, it's not really a blade. They get stuck in the bread. And right now it's pretty hot, so I guess I'll just heat around it. There we go. I'm going to let this loaf cool for a little bit, and I'll come back and cut it.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.